The Last Roxanne. Alan MacDonald stared at his reflection in his bathroom mirror, watching as his receding hairline and dad bod morphed, yet again, into the spitting image of Gordon Matthew Thomas Sumner, better known to the world as Sting. It had started happening 3 months ago, right after that bizarre incident at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, where he'd been hit by lightning while a street performer was doing an acoustic version of Roxanne. Living in Glasgow in 2025 was complicated enough with all the climate-controlled biodomes and mandatory bagpipe recycling programs, but spontaneously transforming into a 1980s rock star was a whole other level of inconvenience. The worst part? He couldn't control when it happened, and he always felt compelled to sing about tantric meditation and rainforests when it did. His ex-wife thought he was having a midlife crisis when he started showing up at parent-teacher conferences looking like a bleach-blonde rock god from 4 decades ago. The teachers, surprisingly, were quite impressed with his impromptu performance of Fields of Gold during little Sophie's math assessment. The Scottish Government had recently passed the Celebrity Doppelganger Registration Act of 2025, requiring all citizens who spontaneously transformed into famous musicians to register their condition. Alan had tried to comply, but the office clerk couldn't stop laughing long enough to process his paperwork. "Every breath you take, every form you make, I'll be watching you," the clerk had sung, wiping tears from her eyes. The only person who took him seriously was Dr. Macpherson, a fringe scientist who specialised in unexplained Scottish phenomena. She theorised that the combination of increased solar radiation, the ancient ley lines under Glasgow, and the residual energy from decades of police concerts had created this unique condition. "You're not alone," she'd told him. "There's a fishmonger in Aberdeen who turns into Rod Stewart, and a postman in Inverness who becomes Susan Boyle. Scotland's got something in the water these days." Alan had learned to cope, mostly. He'd even started a support group called Every Little Thing They Do Is Tragic, for others with similar conditions. They met weekly in a pub in the Highlands, where a collection of part-time celebrities would commiserate over haggis and craft beer. The real problem came when he started turning into Sting during important meetings at his accounting firm. Try explaining quarterly projections when you suddenly start speaking in a Geordie accent and stripping down to do yoga. At least, Alan thought, watching his reflections slowly return to normal, I didn't get stuck transforming into Bono. He shuddered at the thought, straightened his kilt, and headed out to face another day in an increasingly bizarre Scotland. He just hoped he could make it through his daughter's school concert without breaking into Message in a Bottle again.